Hey, so in this video I'm going to cover some apps that I have on the iPhone that also work on the Apple Watch as well. The first one is called Zones. Zones looks like this. So the Zones app is essentially all about heart rate zones. So when you're working out, you can see what zone your heart rate is currently in. So traditionally, you'll either have maybe 4 or 5 heart rate zones. And a lot of the training I used to do, and I still kind of do today, is around high intensity interval training. So knowing you're in zone 3, 4, or maybe 5 is actually quite useful. When the Apple Watch first came out, the workout app didn't actually show what heart rate zone you were in. In recent versions of watchOS, they're now showing that, but I still choose to use the Zones app just because it's really simple to see what heart rate zone you're in. The app on the watch will also vibrate as you change between heart rate zones, which is quite useful. So obviously if I've seen that I am in zone 5 and I get a vibration, I know that I've gone down to zone 4. The app itself also kind of shows you some of the detail around your workout as well. So you can kind of see here what zone you were in. So you can see I spent a lot of time in the orange zone there, with red being zone 5 or the highest. And I just find that information really useful. Obviously it gives you information around how many calories you've burnt. If you're out running, it gives you the distance and the map and kind of all of the sort of usual stuff you're used to seeing when analysing your workout. The Zones app has a free version as well as a pro version. I bought the pro version many years ago, so I don't really remember what it cost, and I'm not even sure if it's the same fee now. On the App Store, it's really well rated. When I had a look, it was 4.8 with around 17,000 reviews. So it's certainly worth a look, especially if you're interested in heart rate zone tracking during your workout. The second app I use daily is called Athlytic. So what Athlytic does is it syncs with Apple Health, and it takes all the data that's collected by the watch and it turns it into actionable insights for you. You don't have to have an Apple Watch to use Athlytic. However, I would really recommend it because a lot of the data that the watch will get really does work quite well with Athlytic. It offers exertion, recovery, sleep, information on 5 specific metrics. So it looks at your HRV, which is your heart rate variability. It looks at your resting heart rate, as well as your respiratory rate, your blood oxygen, and your wrist temperature. And it will send you an alert if any of those 5 things are out of their normal range. So a good example of that might be your resting heart rate if you're overtraining, or maybe you're ill. And another good one for illness is your wrist temperature. So I think when I got ill last time, my wrist temperature was higher, and then sure enough, a day or so later, I'd caught whatever the cold or flu that was going around at the time was. Much like the Zones app, this has a free and a pro option. Again, the pro option gives you as much data as you're looking for. And if you really are into data and insights, it's a really great app to use. The third app I use daily is the Oura app. Now for this one, you don't have to have an Apple Watch, but you do need to have an Oura ring. So that's one of these things here. Hopefully the camera will zoom in on it or focus on it. So the Oura ring is a wearable. You wear it on your finger. I think they recommend the index finger, but I've actually always worn it on my ring finger, but on my right hand. So I don't know what you call it, the fourth finger, I guess. And I wear it 24/7. I take it off to charge it, normally about probably daily at the moment, but sometimes every other day. But I find a good way for me to find time to charge it is actually via when I'm actually working out. So you don't really want to wear this sort of thing while you're working out, especially if you do workouts that involve barbells or dumbbells, because it wouldn't be very comfortable to wear it. So the Oura app, much like Athlytic, provides you with a whole host of information that it's tracking on its own. So it doesn't necessarily require the data from an Apple Watch. It gathers all the similar data itself. So I've kind of got 2 ways to analyse what my body is doing, and much like the Athlytic app, it will provide you with the temperature on your finger, your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, amongst a whole host of other metrics. And one thing I think Oura does really well is it gives you a daily score. So you kind of get a readiness score and a sleep score. So we can see there my sleep score last night was not quite so good. It was 74, and then my readiness is at 84, which is generally deemed to be okay. But you know you're doing really well with Oura when you get a little crown, which is kind of a neat way of kind of gamifying the stats that kind of come back from the ring. To really get much of the functionality out of an Oura ring, you have to pay a subscription. I would check the Oura website for details, and the rings you have to buy as well. I think they start at about $299. And then app number 4 is the Hevy app. So that is a workout tracker. So I use this app to track my weightlifting workouts. So this one's really useful for if you're weightlifting and you want to track your progress as far as what weights you're doing, what sets you're doing, how many reps you're doing. This will help you track that, and obviously over a period of time you can increase the weight, you can increase the reps, you can increase the sets, you can change the exercises, and this just allows me to get some really good graphs and stats around what I'm doing when I'm weightlifting. Obviously you could use a paper diary if you wanted to. There are a whole multitude of apps available that do a really similar thing, but I found the Hevy app, which is spelled Hevy, is actually really simple to use. It's really simple to create your own routines in the app. You can add custom exercises. It has an Apple Watch app as well, which I don't actually use myself, but that allows you to kind of add RPE values as well as other metrics that then get ported back into the iPhone. They have a free version and they have a pro version. To be fair, you could probably get away with using the free version, but I actually paid for a pro subscription for 1 year just to kind of see what it was all about. And the app ratings on this one again are pretty good. This one's rated 4.9 currently on the App Store. App number 5 is called GOWOD. So this is all about mobility. So the GOWOD app looks like this. And this one is all about stretching, recovery, mobility. So what they will give you here is you can have a mobility score, you can do a test, and then from that test they give you a score. So my score is currently at 51%, which is not great. I'm not very mobile, so I'm trying to, this year, put more time into my mobility. So I'm trying to do at least the minimum of 8 minutes per day, with a view to doing either the 15-minute sessions or even the 22-minute sessions. I've been pretty good so far this year, getting at least something in the morning or something in the evening, and sometimes I will do both ends of the day. The thing I like about this app is a lot of the apps that are out there for stretching and mobility, they are follow-along videos, and if you're watching TV or you're kind of listening to something, you don't really want a video on as well. And the great thing about the GOWOD app is it's just more like a timer. It gives you the move, it shows you a video displaying what you need to be doing, but it's more about a timer running, and then it kind of gives you a little bell when it's time to either change sides or move on to the next exercise. So for me, that works really, really well. I totally recommend using GOWOD if you're looking to improve your mobility this year. And then the last app, number 6, is the SmartWODTimer app. So if you're into doing EMOMs, AMRAPs, or any kind of CrossFit style workouts, this app is really good just as a basic timer. So you can kind of set up your workout in the app, hit go, it has a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and you are underway. And then if you also want to track the reps, it has kind of a button on the screen that allows you to hit the button, and when you hit that, it kind of counts up your reps. So if you're doing like an AMRAP and you want to count how many rounds you get completed in a 20-minute AMRAP, you can click the screen each time, and that will allow you to have a total score. And it also allows you to look back at the history. So obviously if you've got a workout in there and you kind of want to redo that at a later date, you can do that as well by easily looking through the history. Now I thought what I'd do is share a couple of bonus apps. So I won't go into as much detail on these, but I think they're worth looking at in addition. So a big one that a lot of people use is MyFitnessPal. I'm certainly not the first person to use this one. So if you're looking to lose weight or gain weight, or stay at your same weight, or perhaps optimize what you're eating, so maybe get more protein in per day, this is a really good way of doing it. So essentially it has a barcode scanner to scan food you're eating, or you can add the food manually, or you can look up the food by searching for it. In the UK, not all food is in the database, so sometimes you kind of have to go and add things manually yourself, but a lot of the food we have is actually in the app. And it makes it really easy to track how much you've had for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or obviously if you have more meals than 3 meals a day. But the big kind of takeaways for me is if you're looking to lose a bit of fat before a holiday perhaps, or maybe you're trying to up your protein intake and you just want to make sure you're hitting whatever number you're looking for, this is a really easy and great way to do it. I don't tend to track my calories all the time, but if I've got a goal in mind, I will tend to switch to MyFitnessPal for that period of time. The second bonus app is called CrossConvert. So I'll show you this one because it's a little bit more harder to explain. So what this does is it allows you to take an exercise from a workout and then you can translate it into something else. So if you, for example, had a row in a workout you'd seen perhaps online, or if you're following a program and you wanted to translate that row into a ski erg or an assault bike or echo bike or even a run or burpees, it allows you to take the row and try and get a similar stimulus from doing something else. Obviously it's not going to be the same, but it allows you to very quickly just kind of go, okay, well, this has got a row in it. I don't have a rower here today. I've got an echo bike. What will I do on an echo bike instead? And it just allows you to very quickly swap out different exercises for ones you can do wherever you are. So for example, if you're on holiday and you don't have access to something, but they do have something else, you can then quickly sub something in for that. And that's a free app, and I think it's just kind of worth having because it allows those conversions to be super quick and super easy, and you can just get on with doing the thing you hopefully enjoy, which is working out. And the last app is actually something I only heard of prior to recording this video, which is called Superset. It's very similar from the looks of it to Athlytic, which is what I mentioned as app number 2 in this video. I've not actually used this app yet. It looks very similar though in that it tracks your recovery, your sleep, your stress, all of those sorts of things. It has a trial and it has a pro subscription. I presume you'll probably need to subscribe to get any useful data out of it. I'll probably have a look at that one as well to see how the app compares to Athlytic, because I've read that Athlytic is actually quite generous in the information it gives you, in that it says you're really well recovered when perhaps you're not actually that well recovered. So I'd like to have a look at Superset and see how it compares. So they're the apps that I'm currently using on a day-to-day basis. Have you used any of those apps yourself? Have I missed any apps that you think should be included in this list of apps that I'm using all the time? And obviously if you've got any comments or any feedback about the video or the apps I've mentioned, please leave them in the description down below. This is my first video on my YouTube channel, so please like and subscribe if you like things like fitness, health, wellness, tech, certainly fitness gadgets, or even clothing. I'm going to do my best to get more videos out in the future, and we'll hopefully grow this channel and build a little community around it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.